Oppa Gundam style, everybody. Welcome to Cool Robot Go show about Mobile Suit Gundam. I'm Max, I use he and pronouns. Who the fuck are you people?
A go about Shobal Suit Mundum.
I'm Julia, I use she, her pronouns. Fuck you, Jay.
I'm Jared or Jay, and I use he and them pronouns. Sorry, I'm bringing a weird chaotic energy with me.
What I've noticed in my year and a half or so of podcasting about the mega franchise of Gundam is that each series I kind of end up having like a different sort of vibe with my co-hosts. Like Morgan and I were very
fucked up and evil one.
Well, yeah. Here's the thing. When I did 0079 with Morgan, when I did Double Zeta with Jake, we were like pretty chill and normal about it. You know, we weren't bringing this like crazy level of energy. When I did Zeta with Colin and Sarah, it became kind of like a psychological torment for me near the end.
Oh no.
When we did G, we just kind of started yelling a lot. And
that's what that series deserves.
Oh, absolutely. And with Wing, it's just kind of like us three get locked in like the fucking rowdy room for an hour and a half every week.
Blame the Zero Gundam.
We're all being affected by the Zero system, and it's making us incredibly hostile towards one another in a very fun and auditorily positive way.
There you go. Got through that one.
I have watched episodes of Gundam Wing, as I'm sure you have too. And
was I supposed to watch the show?
You're supposed to.
You're supposed to listen to the podcast.
Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah, you're
Even
supposed
better.
to take on our vibes and understand the show in your third eye with your new type powers, like Katra.
Like Katra, Rabina winner.
Rababa.
Got there.
Like Katra, ravioli winner.
Spaghetti-olis.
Mamma
Rababa.
mia. Want to talk about Gundam?
Yes.
That's
Yeah, too fucking bad. Episode 28 of Mobile Report Wing Gundam. Passing Destinies. Trey's thinks about how it's good that he's under house arrest. Lady Un's probably alive. He has a new Gundam. The end.
Yeah. My notes are, hi, Lady Un, and wow, cool robot.
I have...
Yeah.
Okay.
You can go first.
This is a recap episode. I have two important things to say about this episode. One, I'm not going to tiptoe around it. This is the Gundam Epion, and it fucking beats ass. Why is it doing Iron Man pose?
It's sick as fuck.
Why would it not be?
Yeah.
It looks badass as hell. And
I'm
two,
so glad we can fucking talk about it. Like,
You
I know
don't
we
have
see
to
it
spoiler
for
it anymore.
this only, but Jesus Christ. I'm so excited to talk about Epion.
we technically don't know what it does. All we can say is that we look at it and we say, yes, cool robot.
Yeah, it looks sick. That's all you need to know.
It's a good robot.
It's a Gundam show.
It reminds me a lot of Master with like, you know, the black and red color scheme, and like it has the same kind of, I mean, I know it's like not like the horns that Master has, it's more like the elf ears that Wing Zero has, but it still looks fucking dope. But the other thing I did want to bring up as like a pseudo, nah, fuck it, this is genuine analysis on my part.
This is the first time for this show.
Yeah, right. One of the only new scenes we get in this clip show, again, I'm not going to do the gag again. It was funny once, and I'm not going to bother re-editing a bunch of odd, like the first however many episodes together at like 5,000 times speed.
It was very good, though. I enjoyed it.
It was really fun. I was giggling when I was doing it. So, what I wanted to say, to give serious analysis to like what happens in this episode, like the only new footage we really get, aside from like Trey's, you know, in a carriage being led to his like fancy boy mansion where he's under house arrest, he lays like a red rose on the Skype terminal he would always talk to Lady Un with while she was in space, which is like, you know, essentially her because she wasn't there. And at the end of the episode, right before he looks at his computer and sees the plans for Epion, Lady Un? Question mark?
With a question mark at the end?
Appears
Yeah,
behind
definitely.
him. The rose is now white, not red. And as we all know, in the Catholic canon, the red represents the blood of Jesus, and the white that we use during Easter time, after Jesus has risen, represents rebirth. So Lady Un...
is Jesus Christ reborn?
Lady Un has become Catholic.
Fantastic.
That's my analysis. She's fine. She died, but she's fine. Amen.
I'm so happy we do keep saying that, because I have somebody listening to this show who specifically brought that bit up to me that we keep recurring.
What, that we keep on saying they're dead, but they're fine?
Yeah.
I mean, hey, it happens.
It just happens.
We're
It happens in the
simply
show.
reporting on what we watch in the show.
Exactly.
It's called journalism. Do we have anything more to say about episode 28?
I did write Lady Un, my love, and then Discord sobbing emoji.
Oh, that's
in my
right. Yeah,
notes.
Trey's loves Lady Un. I mean,
Yep.
so do I, but Trey's like, my love. It's nice. I like them. They're good.
Nice.
They're a good couple. They're both freaks.
Yeah, they're both weird enough that it sort of makes sense.
They're good for each other.
Yeah, and yeah, the Epion beats ass, so.
It's good. Yeah. Episode 29.
Good job, team. We did it. Episode 29. The heroine of the battlefield. Sally is captured by Oz, but is able to crash her carrier to hide Hero's wing Gundam until Noin arrives to break her out of Oz prison, or clutches, and helps her retrieve it. Relina, who is now the leader of the Sank Kingdom, clashes ideals with Dorothy Catalonia, a new transfer student and granddaughter of Duke Normail, who desires the thrill of war. Author's note, she's normal. Hero and Catra, now back on Earth, escape from an Oz carrier.
Let's go, lesbians.
Let's go, lesbians, let's go.
This episode's fucking good as hell. It's introduced my new favorite
It's really
character
good.
in the show.
God. I
had a
am
really
0%
hard time with
surprised.
this episode. And it's not for the reasons that you would think. Dorothy aside, there was a lot of talking in this episode that I had a really hard time like focusing on and following.
See, I have fully switched to watching the sub at this point because I can do it in my office rather than having to be in the living room. So that's going to be on you to like explain. I know you said there was some weird delivery on these episodes too.
Yeah, I don't know if I'll be able to point them out necessarily like
That's
exact
fair.
scene by scene, but yeah, there's like a line that Hero delivers towards the end that's really wonky. It's just like he like pauses for every word like a robot. And there's one where like Catra starts and ends a sentence like way too close to way too close together. It's like, I don't know. It's some of the English delivery there's too many words and they had to cram it together really poorly.
Like between the mouth shapes moving.
Yeah, it was like a Godzilla dub where like the voice actors would speak only when their mouths were moving.
Yeah, very, very, like fucking Xenoblade
Nope,
2.
absolutely makes sense.
Yeah.
Tremendous. So this one starts out, we see some neutral country. This is not, or no, this is a meeting in the Sank Kingdom.
Yeah. It's undisclosed countries meeting in the Sank Kingdom.
That's right. That's what it is. And it's like the whole debate, essentially, of like, this is the colonies thinking if they should side with Oz, but like countries thinking if they should side with Romefeller. It's like, they may be lunatics, but if we side with them, we might be able to avoid further bloodshed, even though they're kind of like forcing peace to happen with bloodshed. What could it mean?
Ideology.
That's right. And Relina's here wearing her girl boss suit again. Yay!
Yeah, it's really nice to see. She's wearing
Yeah.
her, I believe it's intended to be like the Sank Kingdom formal wear at this point. But Relina is like actually trying to politic and like play the game for like actual change. And pretty much all of these people seem to be about it, which is very sudden to say the least.
Like, I know, right? She says that freedom is the right of all sentient beings. But then she's like, but the answer is not necessarily true freedom, because with true freedom, you get bullshit like this all happening. But it's better to essentially follow total pacifism and learn from the past so you can create a better future without bloodshed. And everyone kind of is like, that's right. Wow, why didn't we think of that? Oof, wow, this little girl's onto something here. Wow, look at that.
Yeah, it's almost embarrassing.
It's extremely embarrassing. She walks out of the building that this meeting's held in, and we see some Romefeller soldiers. And they kind of mention to her, like, hey, that meeting was, like, really, really short. And, like, they're, like, looking at, we have a bunch of, like, Virgo guards standing around. And she's like, yeah, it's short because they believed in what I was saying. And she's like, I hope you people learn from your past mistakes very quickly, as they're all, like, eyeing these, like, mindless AI death machines.
They're looking up. It's shots from below up at the Virgos, which still to me look cool as hell, but they are spooky to look at is the thing of it.
A little bit.
I don't know.
When they're just looming like that, and is this where we get a shot, like a really detailed shot of a Virgo with like the sun blasting on it?
Yep.
Yeah.
It's like glaring off it. It's really cool shot.
Yeah, it's very upsetting because it's not just like one or two Virgos. Like, do you remember Party Night when there were like a couple Leos just out in the streets looking for Relina? That was upsetting, but it was only like 3 Leos. This is like 8 Virgos posted outside of this officials meeting, and Oz is like, we're not listening into everything you say, but also like if you do basically anything, we are all here to annihilate you at the drop of a hat.
Yeah. After this, we kind of cut over. We see some soldiers of some country or other. We don't even know what the name of the country is, I don't think. They're like investigating the shuttle that Katra and Hiro landed in. And they mentioned, they're like, yeah, the orders from Rumefeller are definitely to execute these Gundam pilots, but like the commander, who is Count something or other, he doesn't want to do that. He doesn't want to get rid of them. He's like, he kind of thinks, I guess, like both that they could be useful to him, but more so that like maybe we shouldn't listen to what Oz tells us to do. Maybe it's bad that they have kill orders out when they're supposed to be, bringing peace to the world.
Yeah, he actually thinks for himself a little bit, which is nice. And then we, this is like him, like after they've looked at the suits and they're like speedboating, or not speedboating, but they're like trawling down a river at this point. And he's just having this conversation kind of just to himself. But his teammates are around, available to listen. And then we cut to Hiro on the beach with, I'm pretty sure it's a pineapple.
It is a pineapple.
Yep.
And he just, like, there are 2 dogs barking at him, and he just chucks this pineapple out into the water that we could probably assume is the ocean.
It's very shallow. Must be low tide, because he just fucking yeets it out there, and the dogs, like, run after it.
And we know how strong this kid is. Like,
yeah.
The
also,
kid broke
I did
a
write
full
in my notes,
medical table by himself. Like,
these dogs are rough both visually and auditorily.
Yeah, pretty bad.
Don't like to see or hear them.
They're no better in English. It's probably the same sound effects.
Yeah.
But Hiro just chucks a pineapple into the ocean. These dogs go after it. They, I think, bring it back to him. And then he looks over at Katra, and Katra's just like sitting on the sand moping. And I think it's Katra who asks the question, like, is kindness necessary in a war? And Hiro's borderline, like, not really, not for the fighting part, but like after the fighting's done, what else do you have? Like, if you don't have kindness when this is all said and done, then what was it kind of for?
Yeah. I must say, I love this is coming from Hiro now, not Katra. Like, this is coming from the edgy one, which is kind of impressive.
Hiro has actual ideals, and we're getting to see them, which is nice.
Wow, what a concept.
And then
You like to see some growth from the boy.
Hiro is like, Katra, you're not going to get anywhere just sitting here moping. Like, these dogs clearly want to play with you more than they want to play with me, and it would do you some good. And then we get this really adorable shot of, like, Katra running along the beach with these dogs, like, chasing after him, and he's just goofing around. And, like, for the first time probably since Troa died, Katra is, like, smiling, you know?
Yeah. It's nice. They have dinner with those soldiers later on. Like, I guess when they're searching their shuttle, this is after they were like picked up by those very same soldiers.
Yeah,
they're all.
I assumed it was the soldiers kind of found them at the crash, and that one guy who was like, I don't think we need to kill the Gundam pilots. Was like, you two leave your suits here and come with me. We'll call this in.
And then we'll report that we just see the suits.
Exactly.
Right. Yeah.
So he's sheltering them, which is nice.
Yeah, they're having dinner with them, and he's, Katra thanks him for not executing them, and he's like, yeah, you can thank me. Like, we do have to hand you to the proper authorities. Like, they're gonna come pick you up. Like, we're keeping you here, and like, we're keeping you alive. But like, nonetheless, they're very appreciative of not being killed right away.
Absolutely.
And the Count asks Hiro, like, what he's going to do if they are going to get executed. And Hiro's like, I don't know. We'll fucking figure that out if that ever happens. He's just kind of flying by wire right now. He does not have a plan.
Yeah.
Katra also commends the Count for siding with Romefeller because he knows that he did it to prevent further bloodshed. Is like, is what people in space chose. So, like, even though Katra recognizes that what they chose is not necessarily, like, the right thing or right for him personally, I think he's, like, still appreciative of the fact that, like, he would make the decision of what he believes is, like, the thing to avoid further bloodshed. It's like, still Katra's whole thing about being, like, the nice boy of the group is still shining through, even though he's, like, in a terrible depression right now.
Yeah. I think it's something that Katra says when they come back to them later, but I'll point it out now. Katra later on says, this nation isn't looking for battles, and we, and he, like, gestures to him and Hiro, like, we are time bombs waiting to go off.
Yeah.
So it's like, very much Katra is acknowledging these people clearly don't want to fight, and because of our, like, literal just existence here, Oz wants us gone, and Oz is going to pick a fight to get to us.
Yeah.
Obviously, that comes up later, but this is very much Katra seeing, like, Max, you've been saying, like, the decisions they've been making.
Right. Cut to girl boss Sally Poe in a cargo plane.
Let's fucking go.
She's back. She has the wing in the cargo plane. She's being chased by Romefellers, so of course her immediate reaction is just to fucking crash into the ocean.
That's
Genius. Love that.
She's like, hey, the ocean's probably cold up here. Anyway.
It's so fucking clever. Like, it's so stupid, but it's so clever.
Yeah. We promptly see her. She's been captured. The plane sank, but, like, she was recovered, obviously, because humans float. And then we're in this, like, very, very foggy port right now. And as the soldiers kind of, like, take her in cuffs off the boat, we see Noin spying on her.
Hi, she's really cool. Also, we have a cool shot of some crabs in a box, which I
like
made
the
sure
crabs.
to
I
note.
like to see them.
I was like, oh, they're doing little crabbies.
Damn, they made the Cancer mobile suit into a real animal?
Ooh, shit.
Mobile suit carcinification.
Become crab.
Become crab. She's being held in, yet another mansion. It's all mansions with this fucking show. And they're basically telling her, we're going to hold you for as long as we need to until we can determine that you are indeed helping the Gundam pilots, and you can probably figure out what happens next.
Yeah, probably one of the better scenes out of this episode. Noin fucking shows up, busts through a window, and we get this, like, I think this is where we get, like, a new type flash sound, as we see, like, the silhouette of Noin breaking in, and she confronts Sally Poe and is, like, trying to get information out of her. And Sally's like, I could just lie to you to, like, get you to let me go free. And Noin's like, yeah, but, it'd be more fun if you told me the truth, right? And then Romefeller troops show up, the Oz troops show up, and Noin just opens fire on them.
She just blasts them away. It's very good to
with
see.
The machine gun she's got, and her and Sally, like, climb out the window together, jump down, and drive off. It's so fucking cool.
This fucking rules. This is just like the girl boss power hour. This whole episode
Sally
is.
Poe constantly just does hot girl shit. And no one stops her.
Did we mention Noin, like, kind of has a new haircut?
She's hot as hell now.
Yeah, she has, like, kind of a new haircut.
Beforehand,
her
but even more
eyes
so.
are a little more detailed, I think. Yeah. And she's also wearing, like, a white button-up shirt with the sleeves rolled up and a vest over it. So
it's like more bangs is the main thing.
Yeah.
God, she fucking rules.
She looks good. I don't know if it's credit to the change in hands of production or whatever, but Noin looks better. Noin already looked good.
Yeah, it was like an immediate notice thing too.
Yeah.
It was cool. We cut to them in a pickup truck escaping, where Noin says she can't tell Sally her name or the country she's representing until after the mission, but that she's confident in the Gundam pilots and thinks that they'd be able to defeat the Foundation together.
Mm-hmm.
Sally says some interesting stuff if you want to go ahead and do that.
I actually don't have that specifically. It's
okay.
It's during the exchange that they're having that we see a shot of the Cancers out in the ocean actually finding Sally's crashed carrier too, and like cutting it open and hoisting the wing Gundam up from the bottom of the ocean once again.
Yeah, they be searching. They talk about, essentially they're like, hey, isn't it fucked up that we're helping the Gundam pilots out and calling them righteous even though they're just kids who are like causing crime, but like they're technically who it's in the right? That's like kind of the whole conversation.
And she says something specific where she's like, they're righteous, but it's rough that we have to say that because then they have to act like heroes when they're not.
Yeah.
It's just a cool way of thinking about what all they're doing and like the trouble they're honestly causing, but also like the good they're doing.
It kind of boils down to, damn, I wish the main frontline defense against like the fascism of the Rockefeller Foundation wasn't a bunch of 15-year-olds, alas.
Yeah.
After that, we cut to Hiro, who's on the computer. He's...
Well,
I guess he's
we
like...
cut to Hiro cutting into a tent to get to this like military group's technological center. He literally uses a knife just to cut through the tent canvas.
Hiro busting through.
I know it's not what happens because Katra follows him in the way Hiro went in, but like...
They do walk out the front of it after it.
That's exactly the thing, is they definitely use the front exit, like entrance as they leave. So they did not need to do that. Anyways, they find a bunch of information. There's like information on where the Gundams are, and the Romefeller's Oz is planning to eradicate the Gundams, obviously. Katra kind of hard pivots the conversation, but he ties it back in nicely because in a lot of the data files that they scoured, there's a lot of mention of the Sank Kingdom. So Oz in general is just talking about the Sank Kingdom, but there is also some like gossip somewhere that Katra found that says that the Sank Kingdom is looking for the Wing Gundam Unit 01, almost as if they intend to use it for some sort of defense. Then Hiro and Katra say goodbye to the dogs. And this is where we get the line.
I am not sad to see them go.
This is where we end up getting the line from Katra about how the two Gundam pilots are essentially a hand grenade waiting to go off that would cause a conflict for this country that clearly doesn't want it. So they head out and they take an Oz aircraft carrier, I believe.
Yep. Nearby Oz ships detects the aircraft they're on, and they radio back to Count Townsend, who is the leader who had picked them up and was feeding them and kind of let them flee. Who is given a note that the boys left for him, and it's them saying thank you and to just let Oz know that they escaped, so they're not further tied together with them running off, and that they're not gonna run. They're gonna keep fighting. So we might as well start now.
They're doing the opposite of running here because they are heading directly towards Romefeller.
Directly there.
Townsend like reads the letter that Katra left for them, and then it cuts to Katra, who's like narrating the letter just to Hiro, like reciting it from memory. And Hiro caps it all off with saying, wherever I go, it's the same because fighting is all I can do. And then Hiro looks in the camera and does Jim Office face. And then he jumps out of the aircraft that they stole and lands at like extreme high speed on this aircraft carrier that Oz has and just goes straight for a Leo. He immediately steals a suit and starts shooting stuff up.
Yeah, like this is happening as Noin and Sally are like underwater attacking the Cancers in their Pisces unit to prevent them from like raising 01 from the bottom of the ocean.
Yeah, we have back-to-back action scenes. It kicks ass.
Like it seems as if these are happening in the same area. They're not. They're absolutely not.
I know.
Because like, you know, they're both happening like at night in the water around like Romefeller carriers. But yeah, totally different. Because like Sally gets up in like a boat and starts like tearing it out from the inside. Like Noin is doing like fucking torpedo shit. This rules. This
we
fucking
bounce back
rules.
to Hiro, who's like stolen a Dober gun. He uses that to take out 2 like cruisers that are going along with this aircraft carrier. Katra ends up storming the bridge too. I love this part. Katra storms the bridge and is basically like holding these people at gunpoint, and he's like, "Don't make me kill you. I want you to surrender peacefully. I don't want to end this violently." And then Hiro, like, the captain of this aircraft carrier, like, reaches for his weapon, and he gets lit up from behind as Hiro, in his stolen Leo, like, beams light in through the bridge windows and is like, "I'd listen to him if I were you. If that had been
so
me down
good.
there, you'd already be dead."
Yes. I would have already started firing. I was like, okay, yeah, no, that checks out.
It whips ass. It's so fucking cool.
It's so good. And like they just straight up kick them all off the boat, and they're all in life rafts, and like they just have an entire fucking aircraft
They're just
carrier
kinda
themselves
sitting.
now.
Yeah.
It's so good.
God, this is where after the battle for Sally and Noin, they are like video chatting. Sally already seems to be on her way somewhere else and is saying that she's going to entrust Noin with the Wing Gundam. She's like, "Hey, I'll leave it to you, and whatever your organization happens to be." And Noin introduces herself and says, "I'm Lucrezia Noin." And Sally's just like, "Cool." And is like, "I'm going to find a different Gundam. You can have this one. If you get any word on other Gundams, let me know, because I'm collecting them now."
It's nice. She's beginning
They're
her
just
career-
friends.
Yeah, they're just friends.
This is very good foundation for stuff that will develop in the future, and I'm just very happy to see it.
Speaking of being happy to see things, the next
Shut
scene
up.
involves my
Nope.
favorite character in Gundam Wing.
No.
Nope.
That's where the episode ends, if I remember correctly.
Oops, gotta go.
That's weird. That's so weird that happened.
Do you like my blood elf?
My my
damn
recording's
it.
actually fucking up again. I gotta go.
I gotta go.
Do you like my cool eyebrows blood elf that I've designed with a gold limo?
So yeah, there's this
OC,
huge
do not
gold
steal.
limo, like massive, literally massive gold limo. Someone's driving like an asshole, and then this Barbie doll with Trey's eyebrows but worse pulls off the road, and like they're staring down at this military base, and there's a bunch of Virgos, and they say something about like, "Oh, these military people were supposed to be here. I didn't get to see them. Dang." And then that's like all we get of this person for the time being. And then we get a shot of Pagan driving, and it is Relina's car, and we see it from the top down at first. And this car is going so fucking fast.
Yeah,
like
Pagan has been playing Forza because
Yeah, exactly.
He's ready to
fucking nutty
fucking
on the wheel.
drive.
like you don't see it necessarily in the background of the shots, but for whatever reason, the top down shot that they establish with, it seems like he's going like 300 miles an hour on the road.
It rules. He mentions to Relina that like there's a new student at her institution in the Saint Kingdom who is a blood relative of Duke Dermail.
Jot that down.
Pagan thinks that like she's essentially sent here as a Romefeller spy or to win Relina over, and Relina's just like, you know what? I'm gonna let my words speak for myself and the institution, and we're gonna understand each other. Pagan's like, fucking whatever, God.
Pagan kind of goes off on a little tangent about how much he fucking hates Romefeller. It made me laugh. Like, I genuinely laughed. I was like,
I like
this
Pagan.
guy-
He's fun.
Yeah, this guy fucking hates the Romefeller Foundation. He doesn't want them anywhere near Relina. And then we get a shot of a parking lot as Pagan pulls in next to a very familiar, massive golden limo.
Dorothy Catalonia, my beloved.
Yeah,
She's
Relina
normal,
introduces
she's
herself.
good, and I genuinely dislike her.
Oh god, I hate Dorothy so much. Dorothy immediately is like talking to Relina about like, "Oh, like total pacifism. That's really interesting. What if I wanted to punch you right now? How would you respond to that? What if I had a knife and I wanted to kill you? How would you respond to that?" That is her first interaction with Relina.
No, at first she's like, "Oh, I didn't know the director was also the princess. Anyway, what if I killed you right now?"
Okay, so she's formal for like half a second, and then she's
Yeah.
just like, "No, actually, I'm insane."
She's like, Relina, I love war. I truly do. Like,
openly says she loves war. She's like, I'm a stupid person. I love war. Just great.
Dorothy is the living embodiment of that Tumblr post that goes, I'm a girl boss, I'm a war criminal, I'm a lunatic, I'm clinically insane and the next Virgin Mary, and I'm never going to die. That's Dorothy.
I know writers who use subtext, and they are all fucking cowards.
Dorothy, okay, this is the thing. This is why I love Dorothy so much, because she's clearly just like the most fucking like brazen living antithesis of what like the writers want the show to be about. A girl who literally walks around saying, I love war, this fucking rules, doesn't fighting get your blood boiling. She's just so stupid. I love her.
And then
she literally screams at some planes at one point, go start a war. Like,
she
go off.
I think that's at the end of next episode.
No, it's the end of this one. This is so
no, it's the
fucking
end of this
good.
one.
Is it? Okay.
I love Dorothy.
After Dorothy and Relina chat for basically the first time, we get Pagan talking to someone. He's like, I'm worried about Relina. We find out he's on Skype with Noin, and he's like, yeah, she was saying a lot of awful shit, and I had this ready, and he just pulls out a gun that he had ready. Pagan just had a gun and was ready to kill Dorothy.
Fucking go. He did not trust this girl as far as he could throw her.
Okay, episode 5 of Gundam Wing, we get the assassination of Hiro Yui as like a lesson, but we see him get shot. We see Septum get no-scope domed by a pistol falling out of an aircraft. Give me the cut of Wing where Pagan had pulled a gun, because that would have been insane and Dorothy would have loved it.
Brah, brah. Just a fucking choice.
I'm not gonna lie though, I think I missed the rest of this episode because I was screenshotting Pagan with a gun.
You were screenshotting it, and you did post that in Discord. This is
good.
True.
There's not just much, lost my shit at Old Man.
There's really not much left after this. It's like, you know,
he's talking to Noin, who says to keep a close eye on her. And that they need to protect Relina, even if it means acquiring weapons. And Noin lands in the general vicinity and says she'll work in the shadows to protect Relina in the Sank Kingdom, even if that means she can't be in the like total pacifism thing.
Yeah.
And that's when Dorothy does a big yell at some planes because she just really likes war.
God.
She's God.
Now we can talk about the Epion, and now we can talk about Dorothy, and it's all coming together. And
I don't give a shit about the Epion anymore. All I want to talk about is Dorothy.
You're a gremlin.
God.
Here's the thing. Usually Gundam, this is Ariana Grande voiced its equality, because usually my favorite Gundam characters are like all of the men who are like insane freaks. So I'm glad that we have a woman who's an insane freak for once.
That's valid.
It's equality.
We all know how much you love Heineken.
Fuck that guy. It's mainly
you
Optimus
loved
and Jared.
Heineken and hated Astonage, and you know.
Don't slander me on my own fucking show. Read the next summary.
Don't say you like bad characters and not be right about it. You like good characters. Dorothy's a good character. I just don't like her because she's written terribly.
She's compelling.
The least subtext, and also like just gets right under my skin immediately.
Hey, it means that she's doing a good job.
Yeah, and I can't argue against that. That's the thing. I just don't like her. Anyways, that'll bring us to the third one for this set, episode 30. Reunion with Relina. Hiro has joined the Trays faction in order to keep doing direct action and fighting back against the Romafellers and Oz's oppressive regime. In the meantime, Katra kind of parts ways from Hiro, but not too far, and finds himself in a town caught in the conflict between the Trays gang and the Romafazer. Dorothy stirs the pot, and Relina tells her politely but firmly to knock it off. The nation caught in the crossfire shows Katra that Oz is afraid of pacifism, and this inspires Katra to rescue Hiro from certain doom and head to the nation leading the charge for total pacifism, the Sank Kingdom. Noin secures a flight for the boys, and Pagan reveals to Relina that Hiro is on Earth, and the prince and princess cross paths once again for the first time in a long time.
Damn, good episode also.
Pretty solid episode on this one.
this one starts out. We get narration.
We get a new intro narration. Yeah.
Yeah. It's stuff we all learned, right? It's about how Roman Feller's using mobile dolls to gain more control. The Gundam pilots they still have this fucking kill order out on them.
It's nothing new that we as viewers don't know, but it is like a new visual, new narration. Yeah. That's all.
And then we get a battle in the woods, where the Trey's faction and the Roman Feller square off. But this time we see that Hero is fighting alongside the Trey's faction.
Mm-hmm. He has decided to team up and pilot a Leo and
that's all he knows.
Work with him.
We get kind of a brief flashback where him and Katra are talking about it, and it's not far enough back that Hiro hasn't already joined this section of the Trey's faction.
It's a weird choice of time frame for the flashback because
it's probably literally from earlier that day.
Yeah, it's very strange.
But Hiro is talking about how he needs to continue fighting because he has the things that he believes in, and if he's not if he's sitting idly by, he's just gonna feel awful. He's not gonna feel like he's doing what he needs to be doing to continue the mission he started out on, basically.
Yeah. I definitely at first thought it was literally just Hero fighting the Roman Fellers at first because of the weird flashback timing. But
right.
Yeah, Katra, you can tell it's symbolic when Katra walks away in the pouring rain because he can't go down the path Hero's going down right now.
Props to them for actually animating him with his hair down because it's wet.
Yeah, because of the rain.
Yeah.
Wow. Nice touch.
The show also hates subtext and thinks it should fucking die.
There is, believe it or not, there is still a moment yet to come that is even worse than Dorothy just looking at the screen and saying, "I love war." Is it the one that you
relinked to earlier?
It is the one that I recently relinked to in the Discord.
Okay, cool. It's very good.
It is the least subtle piece of imagery in all of Gundam.
Max, you will literally scream when you see it.
Fuck yeah, I can't wait.
So Katra splits, and then we go back to Dorothy, who has pictures of Hiro and Katra and is doing research on them, I guess. What does she say here? Did either of you write it down? Because
she says she sees photos of Hiro and Katra. She says, "Welcome to Earth. Welcome to a warrior's paradise."
Yeah. Hey, what the fuck?
No good.
It's good. I don't know. She's normal.
No good. It's good. All right. Consensus.
Well, when Max says it's good, I think it 100% means
I'm the one running the podcast.
It's his show. He can say what he wants.
It is your show. You just have a bit of a history with choosing interesting characters to stan.
There are so many people that listen to this that are so excited for you to like Dorothy, and there was no way there was no way you weren't gonna love her. But I just can't abide by it.
I'm glad my brand has reached the point where everyone knows what shithead I'm gonna fall in love with next.
Yeah, Gundam Wing has been a lot of very obvious shots called from people in the audience.
I mean, when next season's IBO, and I've already seen IBO, Sarah hasn't, which is going to be fun, but people can probably guess my favorite characters in IBO. Regardless, not that show.
As a heads up, IBO is good. Anyway.
It's pretty good. So Katra's walking the streets of some pastoral European-looking city. We see some Rogenfeller guys roughing up a shopkeeper and basically threatening to have the citizens form a militia to fight against a Trey's faction who they're in battle with right now. We see the mayor talking with the leader of the Rogenfeller here. He basically is we can't do anything for you. Everyone in the town has essentially subscribed to total pacifism. And Rogenfeller's okay, we're in the middle of a war still. Talking about pacifism is completely useless while you still have to be fighting. So, we get ideology. A lot of people saying yeah, you can believe in it. Doesn't matter when you have to still fucking fight.
Yeah. And this is where it started to really hit me that suddenly a lot of places this ideal of pacifism has just been thrown back into the mix, I guess. And this place in particular, because of their ideals to pacifism, is just gonna get caught in the crossfire. That's what this episode's about. Do you get it? And after the mayor and the guy from Oz talk, we see the shopkeep talking to Katra again. And he says the line, "Fighting back against them would only make it worse for me." Do you get it yet?
Do you get it?
This is when Oz pulls up and starts they immediately flat out bombing, and it's revealed that the Trades faction was approaching the city, I guess, but it really seems like Oz was just gonna start bombing this little town. And
almost
so
immediately too.
Now there's just conflict just outside of town, in the farms and fields on the edge of this city or whatever. And the Trades faction is here, and they're trying to get Oz out of control of this nation or whatever. And conflict just springs up right here, right now. And this is another moment where we see Hiro among the ranks of the Trades faction.
Among?
Yeah.
Stop.
It wasn't until this moment that I realized that, the Trades faction Leos are green and the Romofeller Leos are blue. It matches the color of the uniforms they wear.
Yeah.
That is the intended idea, but there were already blue Leos, and they're the aerial mobility Leos.
It was...
So it's just they
painted themselves into a corner, literally and figuratively, and so
good.
Thanks.
Yeah. It is very much okay, this is the Trades faction's green, Oz is blue. Thank you, Gundam.
Thank you for holding my hand again.
Katra is just out literally on the ground, seeing all of this destruction and combat firsthand. He watches civilians fleeing and trucks being blown up by stray Leo fire and tanks shooting at Leos getting absolutely annihilated because they are not the same in terms of power level.
Yeah. And
it's wild.
Yeah. We learn from a flashback that Hiro's the leader of this squadron here because he's straight up saying, "Hey, I'm a Gundam pilot," and they're like, "Fuck yeah, kid, fight with us." They love it.
He is assigned the title of Red One.
He's Red
leading
One,
his own little platoon for the Trades faction.
When they first said that, I was like, "Does he have the other Gundam down here?" But no, he's still in a Leo.
No, he just got the skills. The fighting gets starting to get pretty close to town, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Which is what everyone said wouldn't happen.
Yeah, this is one of the first times I think that Gundam Wing has really shown the effect of war directly impacting the lives of citizens. One of the only other times would be when they were in Sicily, looking for Noventa's granddaughter, Sylvia, and that was probably the closest. But this is kind of grim. Really?
Oh yeah, this is fucked up.
You see people escaping the city, packing up and moving because of the conflict coming in. You see explosions on the edge of town or even in town. Definitely more so than they've done before.
Max, can you edit in the intro bass riff from City Escape from Sonic Adventure 2?
Thank you. I was gonna fucking say it. I was gonna say it.
I'm making my saddest face.
I'm sorry. It's my impulse control is at an all-time low.
I mean, Max did make an Among Us joke about 3 minutes ago, so impulse control not high on our list.
So now Jules has to make some heinous joke before the episode's up and we can get a hat trick.
Yeah, Jules, no good puns. You can't do smooth transitions and good puns. You have to say something stupid.
Damn it.
As the fighting is, Katra reflects on the futility of war. He hopes Hiro will stop, realizing these battles will only demoralize them.
Yeah, he does his 5th grade book report. And this is where Hiro starts to realize that Oz did not evacuate civilians. Because for whatever reasons, but probably largely because they wouldn't be conscripted into Oz's forces, Oz was just okay, we're going to start bombing the Trades faction as soon as we see them with no regard for the people. And Hiro gets pissed. He goes on comms with Blue One, I think, who is the leader of the other Trades faction platoon. And he's like, I'm changing the mission. I'm going to defend this position and defend the civilians. And it is just Hiro against 5 or 6 other Leos in his Leo. And then we get a commercial break.
Yeah, they really cut that one strangely.
I love that. We cut
singer.
to the Saint Kingdom, Relina's talking to the future women leaders of America, teaching them how to do pacifism.
That's exactly what I wrote, too.
Yeah, good. She's just telling them all how to do total pacifism. We love it. Dorothy's just being a total fucking stinker in class.
God. Yeah, she's being the class clown if the class clown wanted to talk about death and murder some more.
I mean, clowns do that, you realize.
Yeah, that's why I don't like clowns. Anyway.
Remember when there was the killer clown epidemic? What happened to that?
That actually is from an alternate timeline called
did we get
Future Century. And the killer clowns went on to form a clown mafia and terrorized a lot of Neo-America, believe it or not.
I forgot about the clown terrorists.
So that's the thing about Future Century is that the right timeline? Am I getting that right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Anyways, not only is there a clown mafia, but there's also just Romario Manini, like...
Yeah, he's just a guy. He's unrelated.
Like a thing that is canon currently? What is happening here?
No, this is all canon in G Gundam. There are clown terrorists.
In Mobile Fighter G Gundam, there is a real clown mafia in the space colony of Neo America, which is just a chunk of the state of New York in the shape of a star that flies in space, and there's air there somehow. But yeah, there's a main character whose mother was abducted or something by clowns.
She was killed by clown terrorists.
Yeah.
Yeah, as you know.
And then there's an entirely separate character from Neo Portugal who's just a clown, but also kind of a terrorist. But
maybe a robot?
Way.
Hard to say.
G Gundam is difficult to parse.
G Gundam fucking whips.
It's good and also difficult. So back in a more serious timeline, surprisingly. As Relina talks about, she talks to the future women leaders of America, Dorothy was like, Relina, if everyone was like you, there would be no war. But also, if everyone was like you, no one would realize how great you are. If everyone's super, then no one will be.
Exactly, yeah. And then she's like, she says some real shit on like, people like fighting. People fucking love fighting. People want to fight. It's their instincts.
Battles are the purpose of human existence. Let's fucking go.
Relina like claps back with like, my ideals might be naive to some, and like, I wonder why people battle, because it seems like the majority of people are like, this is stupid, actually. And then Dorothy hits her with, results don't matter, Relina. Only action matters.
That's a Gundam-ass line if ever I heard one.
That is really... I feel like that epitomizes a lot of what's gone on in Wings so far.
Yeah, the conversation kind of ends when Dorothy says, she's like, the Saint Kingdom will soon become the main stage of these tumultuous times, and Relina's like, well, even if I die, total pacifism will live on. And Relina leaves the building, and Dorothy kind of thinks to herself, the knights will soon arrive to protect her. And like all the other girls in class are like watching this like, what the fuck is she talking about?
Just like me.
Yeah. And now it's doll time, because we go back to the now destroyed pastoral European city.
This is so upsetting. Oh my god.
Don't like it.
Katra's on the street with that produce vendor guy again, and they're just sitting around as Virgo units get shipped in, and they truck in, they stand up, and they immediately come online. And it's the guy says the people of this country are basically choosing not to fight back because we have sworn to pacifism. But it also means they're just laying down and kind of accepting that they're going to die in this moment. This nation is one of many that seems to be following the Saint Kingdom's example, and people are looking for someone to lead their cause. Viewers, do you get it? We're pointing you in a direction.
God,
it's super weird because like all of the political characters have had such a pull in this so far, like Treize and Relina and Noin to an extent, just because of her like relationship with Relina. They at this point seem so detached from what's happening on the ground, and it felt a little too real.
Yeah, they're very removed from the reality of the situation in a way that, like you said, it is very real. Like, this is how it would work. Like, this is how the Romafellers would feel, just lording over everybody. And this is how Saint Kingdom would feel, staying above and being holier than thou as people are dying.
yeah, it really holds true to what Relina was saying. Like, she is trying to build this foundation for the future, and even if she if she died, the ideals that her country is trying to pursue hopefully would pass on to another generation of people who would uphold those and see to those. And it's just like, yeah, that's great that you are planting the seeds for change. And it reminds me a bit of that moment from the Hathaway movie, the first Hathaway movie, where he's talking to the cab driver and he's like, oh, like, Mafty's doing cool shit. It's going to change the future. And the cab driver's like, yeah, well, what the fuck about right now? Like, they're...
Yeah, like, what does the future mean if right now is falling apart?
It's crazy.
A bit of a twist on it in this, something I'm kind of noticing, mainly with how Relina's treating this clearly antagonistic presence in Dorothy. It really does feel like some lib shit of, like, always taking the high road and, like, let's befriend the enemy and turn them to our side. It's like, no, that's not how it fucking works.
Right.
No, it's fair. I react to Relina trying to befriend Dorothy in a similar way of people being like, oh, just be friends with them. And like, no, they literally don't want people like me or my friends to exist. So
yeah, it's like, oh, that's not how it works.
Yeah.
We say fuck those people.
Relina, I think, literally says the line that, like, dialogues and communication are the only way forward for humanity. And it's like, yeah, if other people are willing to meet you at the table... Like,
yeah, you got Relina. The other side has unkillable, perfect soldier AIs.
Yeah, the other side can literally throw infinite money into a resource that is designed to kill supremely. Like, God, it's a fucking lot. Like I said, it's a little too real.
Yeah, it's a little too fucking real life, huh?
So to bump away from that, we get Pagan, who is talking to Relina after this time where Relina was kind of lecturing to that class. And he's like, Lady Noin told me not to tell you this, but we've been able to locate Hiro Yui. And Relina freaks out. She's like, oh my god, he's alive and he's on Earth? And Noin is basically planning to bring Hiro to the Senk Kingdom, which is great. They get to see each other again.
Yeah, he's alive for now, because he is in battle with mobile dolls who are just completely tearing him apart right now.
Yeah. He's alive at the moment, and he may be dead, but he'll be fine later.
Yeah. He's getting fucked up. He's like, I'm going to fight longer than anyone else can. And it's like, okay, you're going to die here. As this happens, Katra's still talking to that old man. And... the old man says something that kind of, like, gets the gears going in Katra's brain, where he says, like, one day, everyone who believes in total pacifism is going to outweigh the soldiers, and we're going to win. And Katra finally realizes, like, oh, fuck, direct action, and steals an Ares and goes to save Hiro.
It's really funny, because he grabs the pilot of the Ares and just throws him out. Like,
he fucking yeets him off.
It's so fucking funny.
It's like he immediately remembers the thing they were doing the first 29 episodes of this show. He's like, oh, fuck, I have to actually be involved.
So
He's like, oh, shit, Operation Meteor, I forgot all about it.
I wanted to try to gauge what the two of you thought about this, because it, to me, sounded like the old man was saying, like, Oz and Romefeller are afraid of people trying to use pacifism, but he didn't really give a reason why, other than, like, oh, eventually there will be more people who want peace just for, like, they want pacifism, they want peace. But he doesn't really give a reason for that. And the only thing I could really come up with was, like, Oz is afraid of, like, going head to head against something they can't literally directly fight. Like, they can't meet pacifism on the battlefield because they would just wipe it out. And that's one of those things, like, Obi-Wan Kenobi, strike me down and I'll come back stronger than you'll ever imagine, etc. But, like, I don't know. I had a hard time figuring out what this guy was trying to say.
I think that mostly checks out and kind of continues on with the Romefellers, where if enough people, and at this point we're going to just assume a majority of people kind of subscribe to that total pacifism, they can't buy their way through it either. The two sources of power for these organizations, force or money, can no longer continue to get them ahead and get them growing. It kind of all crumbles out underneath them at that point.
Right. I don't know. It was weird.
I mean,
But
You're
then
not wrong there.
Katra's like, it's time to kick ass. So he steals an Ares. Hero is by himself facing down like probably 20 plus Virgos.
Yeah. This is the end of Halo Reach.
Yeah. Yeah.
Objective survive.
And Katra swoops in with the Ares and he punches a Virgo so hard it explodes. And
Which
then
is
he
maybe
helps,
one of the coolest shots.
he helps Hiro get off the battlefield and he's like, we gotta go to the Sank Kingdom. And then a very familiar blue carrier flies overhead and just drops the Buster rifle right in front of Hiro.
And Wayne's like, I think I know who you boys are, and I think you know how to use this.
Yeah, it's a cute line. And then Katra, of all people, picks up the fucking Buster rifle.
Well, to be fair, Hero's suit has one arm right now.
That is true. That is true. But he fires
Katra does
one shot.
blow the fuck up out of these Virgos, though.
He fires one shot and also literally levels the playing field.
Yeah, and at the same time, Noines uses the shuttle. I love that the shuttle's lasers are
better than the
like,
Virgos. Like,
we've seen
tears through them.
I need to talk about the Virgos in this entire fight because they have V8 cannons, and I assume they're firing at less than maximum capacity, but there's like several scenes where they hit Leos multiple times before the Leos take any sort of damage or explode. Like they don't melt, they don't get annihilated, they just get blasted a couple times and then explode.
So I'm going to go ahead and say that's because of what we talked about, like way back when.
Are we talking about heat on the on Earth?
Yeah,
instead
I think
of
it
space?
has to do.
Okay,
I'm gonna this probably. The answer is probably that they forgot, but
yeah.
I want to say
I think it's a matter of not being capable of firing it on Earth, like you're saying,
exactly,
and also variable capacity for like how much energy they're spending to do these blasts.
But at the same time, they forgot.
Yeah,
they read the script. But,
they did read the script. Yeah,
it's more
dramatic
fun
to watch a Leo get body blows from multiple lasers before exploding.
But yeah, all the fucking Virgos are just gone, just completely destroyed by like the obscenely powerful lasers on Noin's shuttle and the Buster rifle.
Yeah. I think the footage we get of the lasers is technically recycled footage from something Noin did in Antarctica too.
Probably, yeah, because that was when we saw the lasers happen, too.
Yeah, because it does that to, I think, a couple Leos, and I think they literally reskinned them as Virgos and called it a day.
And then we just, like, cut after this wonderful scene of war being good.
Yeah.
The jet arrives in Sank Kingdom. Hero and Katra walk out, and, like, Noin's telling Pagan, like, hey, don't worry about Relina knowing about Hero. If she learns about the Gundams one day, we'll fucking, we'll figure it out. We'll do everything we can to allow her to keep her happiness.
Yeah. And we end
and the episode
with
ends.
Relina.
The episode ends with
staring longingly and lovingly at Hero as he, like, disembarks this plane.
You say longingly and lovingly. She makes DreamWorks face at him.
God. She like goes down on her hand, like on the staircase. It's really cute, is the thing.
Yeah,
it's more emotion than Relina has shown in the entire show.
Oh, by far.
I'm curious to know, and I guess we'll figure this out like over the course of the show, if people think like the second crew on Wing did a better job than the first crew on Wing.
The biggest thing that I want to point out so far is everyone's eyes look different. Like,
yes, they do.
There is more life in everyone's eyes.
Mm-hmm.
The first half of the show, there's a lot of soullessness going on.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's a metaphor for war.
Thanks, Max.
But it's, again, Relina made DreamWorks face. I think I might just, like, get rid of the Discord emoji we have for Relina and use this instead, because it's fucking
fair.
rules.
Yeah.
Next episode.
That
is episode.
We have, 19 more to go? Fuck.
And for the Operation Meteor count, they said Operation Nova in the recap episode, so that counts.
Hell yeah. Tremendous.
If it doesn't count to you, then you're lying to yourself.
Dang.
That's right. Rules of the podcast. Do we have a bit today?
I don't think so. I think we prepared for everything else except a bit.
That's okay. Whatever. It's our show. We got plenty more episodes to go through. So we'll just how the show was indulgent enough to get 2 fucking recap episodes in a row. We just won't do one this week and give the audience a break.
Yeah,
there we go.
fine.
That makes sense.
Next week, I guess we'll probably do an English Beyond Toon World. So
Sure.
One of y'all can prepare that.
Hell yeah.
I guess that will take us to plugs, though.
Max, before that,
Huh.
what's your robot of the week?
Oh, I guess we don't. We usually do it in a different order, but you know what? You asked me, so I have to.
The thing about
you
is,
asked me, so
I'm
I have
an
to
idiot
answer.
child baby.
You asked me, so I have to
I
answer.
need to know right now.
The answer
Cortana
is
from the
forgot.
Halo series.
Oh, you see, that makes sense.
I met her in real life. She's a very nice woman.
Max.
That's good.
That's a video game character, buddy. She's not real.
I met her. She also voiced Princess Peach.
Max,
Yes.
Cortana is a program on Windows computers.
Her name is Jen Taylor, and she's a wonderful woman. And I also got to meet Mr. Chief himself.
No, that's just a voice actress.
He looks a lot like Billy Joel, surprisingly.
Cortana
He's also
does?
Yeah, Cortana
Steve
looks
Downs.
like Billy Joel.
Okay.
No, fucking Steve Downs, the voice of Mr. Chief. Jen Taylor looks just like a regular,
Julia, hit us
your
with your
average
plugs.
woman.
You can find me on Twitter at the Crown Jewels with 2 underscores. That's JULES. I'm really nowhere else. I'm just on Twitter and Discord.
I'm Jared, or Jay, and you can find me at PagliacciProtoJ on Twitter. I'm available to do voice work if you need anything done. I literally do it professionally. So I guess hit me up. You can find me on Twitter, and you can find me on our Facebook support group for mecha addicts. And just keep an eye out, I guess.
And I'm Max. You can go to twitter.com at MaxyBajillion for my tweets. You can go to twitter.com/pod@GreedCast to listen to my fun Yu-Gi-Oh! Show about Yu-Gi-Oh! GX. We've started season 3. It's weird. You can go to twitter.com/SlappersOnlyPod or SlappersOnlyPod.com to listen to Slappers Only, a video game music showdown podcast I do with my friend Jordan. I think we're like a week late on our Splatoon episode. We haven't even fucking recorded it yet, let alone
Oopsie.
made a Twitter post about it. I think we're just taking a little break.
That's okay.
We're allowed.
Yeah.
I feel
You
like
can
I've been
find
mentioning
this
that
show-
fucking episode for 3 weeks now.
Yes, but it's okay.
Yeah,
You can find this show on Twitter at WowCoolPodcast, or you can hit us up on Discord at the WowCool Discord, which
You
is
can
linked
find us
in my Twitter.
on Noisepace XYZ, and also at the URL I just bought, mechahegao.org.
Jesus Christ.
I'm just ending the episode here. Did you really buy that?
Your silence is deafening.
I have no obligation to answer that question.
I'm typing it in.
Here's
Site
the
can't be
thing.
reached.
Here's the thing. If you need to know, you have to search it.
That's true.
So I win no matter what.
Oh, and what do we always say?
War is bad.
War is bad. Wait, oh no, you said
Wow, cool robot. Goodbye, goodbye, goodbye.
Oh.